My Leos, how are you? All right, so Leos, thank you so much for joining me once again at Kate's Regretless Life. So you guys, it is Sunday and you're just now getting your first reading of the week. Normally I always do 2 for every zodiac, and you guys only get 1 this week, and it's super, super delayed. Sorry, I was traveling earlier this week and I got kind of snarled up in all of the forest fires in California. And after 2 days of driving, I actually had to turn back. So I never made it to my destination at all. But my heart goes out to everybody who is involved in all the evacuations, and huge thanks to all of the firefighters and first responders and everybody that is so involved in trying to help each other right now. So in any case, you guys, I'm going to go live today at 3 o'clock and do some free readings for my subscribers. It's kind of a nice way to just connect with each other when there's so much going on in the world. And certainly there's lots of natural disasters happening right now. And so I don't know if you guys just want to hang out a little bit and lighten up the mood just a smidge, I just thought maybe today would be a good day for that. So I'll see you guys around 3 o'clock. Mwah. All right, now for your reading. All right, so Leos, we start out this way. We start with the 6 of Wands in the reverse. What is this that you're worried you didn't do good enough on? You're a Leo. You guys are amazing. You don't have to worry that you didn't do good enough. Maybe you set a bar too high for yourself. This looks like maybe you're like, well, I mean, yeah, I made it to the parade, but I wasn't riding on the white horse, or I didn't have my red cape on. I had my blue cape and I was on a brown horse. And so it probably wasn't as good as it could have been. It's like you might have set a really high bar for yourself. We have a 7 of Swords that crosses it, which is the other reason I feel like, okay, here's the thing. Either some of you are chiding yourselves right now saying, how did I let this skunk lie to me and swindle me? Some of you might be kicking yourselves right now. No matter what, I feel like this is all about you feeling a little low because you are judging yourself right now. Now, this is false, though. You shouldn't be this hard on yourself. You really shouldn't. But you are being that hard on yourself right now because I feel like some of you are pissed at you that somebody treated you poorly and you didn't see it. And it's like, none of that is for you to feel bad about. The only person who should ever feel bad is the fool who decided to lie and act childish and run away and all those things. They're the only ones who have any shame to bear. They should be ashamed of themselves because they have a lot of growing up to do. If somebody lies to you and it works, it's because they intended to be a liar and to be deceptive. It's not your fault that it worked, right? And it doesn't mean that they're smarter than you or they're more cunning. Cunning is not smart. Cunning is, here's the thing, if they were smarter than you, they wouldn't have had to lie to you at all, right? So whoever did this, they weren't smart and you feel foolish because you got taken for a ride. No, not at all. It's the person that was the liar who couldn't face you as your equal. That's how you know you have to be ashamed of. It's their issue, not yours. I think you're getting that vibe back because we've got the King of Wands underneath this. I feel like you are very loving, very giving, and maybe that's the reason it bugs the heck out of you that this happened, because you're like, this is not who I am. No, darling, it's not who you are. So forget that little mess. That's the only way somebody could get to somebody as good as you, is if they lied and pretended to be like you and insinuated themselves into your life and studied the way you are to try to show up like they are more like you. So they tried to mimic you. If anything, you kind of maybe just want to feel like, well, that person really wanted to figure out how to be more like me, so they pretended to be. That's on them. It must suck to be them, the fact that they have to pretend all the time just to get near someone like you. So it's just kind of flipping the script, which I feel like you're able to do because they do think that you know your worth in this. But there is 1/3 storyline here. And I will say, maybe this is a story where if any of you did something that you're not proud of, if you feel like, that wasn't authentic for me, and I hate that I said yes to something that's not authentic for me. It forced me to become a liar, and that's not how I want to behave. This is who I want to be. You might be trying to set things right because you're like, God, I wish I hadn't done that. That wasn't authentic for me. And we all have moments like that in life where we go, I don't want to be that person, So, and that is maybe for a handful of you. Hey, we all make our mistakes. We all do. And then what do? We try to make it right. We learn from our mistake. We try to own it. That's a really big part, I think. I think people can't really move on from their mistakes unless they can own it and usually say the apology, even if it's not going to be accepted. It's just to say, this is a turning point in my life. I screwed this up and I am never going to be this way again. And I don't expect you to forgive me. I just need you to know that it is a turning point for me. It's one of those things. Some of you might be, again, like chiding yourself too much. Maybe you did make some little fumble, but it's not really that big of a deal. But you're like, oh my God, never again. Hey, if it makes you into a bigger, brighter, more beautiful version of yourself, awesome. But I hope you don't linger in too much self-recrimination. I feel like the story that I'm getting really, though, is the first one that I mentioned. Like you're irritated with yourself that somebody pulled the wool over your eyes. In the recent past, Ace of Cups in the reverse, this is either finding out that love wasn't true or rejecting love. But can also be like, we're really mad at ourselves still. We're not loving ourselves. We're feeling really bad. Or we realize that somebody was lying about their love. What I like about this is the truth of it is you are not actually shaken. You just learned something. Okay. You learned, it's like a street hustler with a really great trick. And you almost go, dang, that was a slick move. I mean, you're a hustler and I ain't ever coming near you again, but I got to give you props. I just learned what your trick is, and that's going to serve me well from here on out. Take it in that stride instead. It doesn't mean that you like kind of appreciate what they did. No, they're a jerk. But can you say, but let me make light of this and say, I just learned that this is a tactic. I now know a tactic. It's almost like you gained like a reconnaissance mission. You gained the insight on a style of strategy that a hustler uses. So you won't be hustled like that again. So that's actually, it can be a bonus. But crowning your thoughts, you still have that 9 of Swords. There's still the worries. This still stresses you out. What part of it stresses you out? Or someone's stressed out. Maybe it's you realizing that this person who hustled you is stressed out because the game is up. You got the drop on them. Maybe it's them. Hang on. 9 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles. No. King of Swords in the reverse, King of Cups in the upright. I have to say, so we have 2 kings here, right? King of Cups is in the upright. This was a genuine love offer. This is somebody who was oftentimes silent because they didn't want to say the truth, didn't want to reveal everything. And this is the end of a long-term commitment. I actually feel very, very much like you are realizing that, and I say this because we see you, Leo, as the King of Wands down here. You are in your strong energy. At the base of everything, you are the one who is strong. Crowning your thoughts, you're like, oh man, this person, think of what they lost when they lost me. I really loved them. They hid and played games, and now this long-term, and maybe this was a long time that there had been an investment of energy. And all along, maybe you kind of even sensed that something was a little bit off, because we do see this gentleman here kind of behind. You notice also how we have all of these bars. That's how I see it anyway. It's like there's always been somebody who kept something locked up. This almost looks like, like little prison bars, and so does this. And it's almost like there was always somebody who couldn't, you might even be realizing, like someone could never really be real with their emotions. Someone always hid the true version of themselves, and they hid it for such a long time. Imagine how difficult that must have been. Whoever has been a hustler or a liar toward you, can you imagine being in their shoes, living their whole life as a life of a swindler, or living their whole life trying to pretend to be something that they're not? I almost feel like you're going, God, it would just suck to be like that. I'm so glad I'm not like that. I wear my heart outside. It's not even a necklace that I wear. I wear it outside my shirt. I take in the experiences that I genuinely want to have. So even if they were false, the love that I experienced, that was real. So my life is still real, even if they were false. But it's almost like, I think you're seeing this through their eyes and imagining like, God, it must be awful. Now, people that lie and do things like that, sometimes they don't identify that it's awful. But deep down, I kind of think that whoever this is that you dealt with, no, they do identify that, and you know it. And there's I'm going to say it's an energetic sensitivity. It's weird because this is such a bizarre story. It's like, despite the fact that maybe you're the one who got played, you're actually the one who winds up the victor, despite the fact that you might have been the one who got played. And it's almost like they had to play with just someone like you in order for their house of cards to crash down and for them to really have to look at themselves. It's like they saw themselves through your eyes. Maybe you looked at this person and really they saw their behavior. It's like flashed before their eyes the way you see them, which is like, that's how you live your life. You know, you're so far above like having a big drama fest where you're not screaming and crying and cussing at them. You're more like, how could you waste your life being false? It's such a different reading in that sense. You may be irritated that you got played, but I think you're more like, ooh, what a mess you've made of your life. That's got to be unhappy for you. I feel like, Leo, like you're very compassionate and very realistic. And you, if they thought that they could somehow, you know, sometimes people lie and cheat and do things because that's how they pump themselves up. They feel clever and they feel like, ha, you know, here's this amazingly smart individual. And yet Leo can't figure me out. They don't know the game I'm running. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, Leo, I'm kind of pitiful the way I've been running my life. It's true. It is only games. Leo has sense, and I'm just kind of like running amok. You know, it would be the difference between like Leo is an engineer who can build amazing buildings, and I'm writing letters in crayon. You know, like my art is crayon, and I don't really put any effort into anything. But I say that I do things, but I really don't. And Leo is not just an artist, they're an artisan, and they're an engineer, and they have this huge depth to them. It's almost like somehow you've changed this person. In the upcoming future, somebody's in a whole lot of grief. Somebody's gotten locked out of the castle. Leo, all I can say is that I feel as if someone, the magnitude of them being able to see, and the reason I'm going to read it this way is because only a king lives in a castle, right? So if this is you, you're within this castle and you've cast that person out and closed the door. And I don't even think you did it mean. I think you were just like, okay, well, clearly you didn't actually want to be here. So out you go. And that's it. And there's no fuss, no muss. It's just how it is. This is where this person is out here going, oh my God, it's over. It's like my behavior direct cause and effect. I lied, I cheated, I gamed, and now I'm outside. And it's not any conversation. It's not any, well, let's barter, let's bargain. This person is just outside and kind of out with themselves, having to think about themselves. Tough place to be if you are alone and you find out, I don't like me when I'm alone with me. Your fear position, Page of Cups in the upright. It's almost like you're afraid they're going to try to come back in and give you some profound apology and tell you that they're changing, because you're like, I feel like you had a lot of emotion for this person, but at the same time, it's like, I wish it had just been different, but I don't really want to have to do okay, let me hear it out. Let me listen. I feel like you just want some time and space away from them is what it looks like in this. How others see you, the Moon card. You're kind of withdrawing a little bit. You're kind of, maybe you're walking around, you know, the gardens. You're taking long walks. You're thinking about things. You're asking yourself, what do I want next? Would I ever take this person back? Am I really steadfast in not wanting them? Or is there a hope for this person to redeem themselves? Would I open the door open a crack? I feel like you already know this person is going to actually try to come back in and make an apology. And you are afraid of it because right now you don't want to deal with it. You really don't. Because you're trying to figure out, could there be a redemption story here? Could there be a redemption? I feel like you already know that they're really upset with themselves. I feel like there's a part of you that knows that you may be the only person on earth that could have ever had this much impact on them. You are the only person that could have ever made them see themselves and see that they need to change, because this is unacceptable. You might have been dealing with a Pisces here, but I feel like you're spending a lot of, maybe even some sleepless nights walking in the moonlight thinking about things. Who are they underneath it all? What's the quality of this person? Because look, sometimes people, they wouldn't necessarily have chosen to be a hustler, but the way they were treated, raised, nurtured, or lack of nurturing, the environment they came up in, the value system they were exposed to, and the sometimes like survival mechanisms and all these things kick in and make people behave in certain ways. Now, we're all responsible for our own behavior, no excuses. But at the same time, can people grow and change? Sure, everybody can. Will people? It's totally up to them. If we are hoping that somebody's going to change, nobody changes for us. They change for themselves, right? So you kind of are just thinking about things going, yeah, they're in a lot of regret. They messed this up badly. They played games. There was something here that was not true about this, whatever it was. I don't know what the lie was, but who were they on the inside, and what would I accept back in my life? Could I ever believe in this person again? I feel like that's a major question here. And other people that know you well know that you're not really discussing that. It's like, this is off limits. I don't want to discuss it, because it's all kind of stuff that you're processing. That's what I would say. What you want to at least have some healing. The Judgment card is like, it's making peace with things, but you may decide that I would like to maybe at some point down the road entertain the idea of a conversation with this person to see if things could be healed enough to where there could be a new beginning. This is that Horn of Gabriel. This is definitely a story of forgiveness and redemption. That doesn't always mean I forgive you and now you can come back in my life. Sometimes this is like, I can just let go of all the hurt and I'm not mad at you. It's okay. You are what you are. You made some big old mistakes. And did you change? That's awesome. I'm super happy to hear it. Doesn't factor into my life anymore, but I'm glad for you. And it could go either way. No matter what, you don't want to carry any burden from this. That's the biggest message I get. All you want is to not carry burdens, and you don't want, this could have been something that affected a larger group. It may have been one person that was not truthful, but it might have seeped out into a larger group of like friends, or you met other people through them and you really like them. And yet you and this person are not, having a good time of it, and you're pushing them out of your life, but you're like, yeah, but I miss those other people. They'd become friends of mine too. So this could be you just simply resurrecting connections with others and not them. I feel though like there's a restoration and a peaceful energy that you realize you want to have. Your outcome is the Lover's card. Gemini energy. And we had Scorpio energy in this also. But you've got this vibe here. Leo, I almost feel as if, actually, let me change decks. Let me see. With the Lover's card, there is a choice to be had here. Ooh. Hang on. We have the Lovers again. We have the Five of Swords, and we have the Magician in the reverse. This is not a great ending. I'm not going to lie. The reason I feel this way is because, and I'm going to say it out loud just because it's in my head. If there is any little element of like, this might only be for like two people out there, but if there's that angry little thought that flits through your mind of, you know what, maybe I'll act like I'll reconcile with them, but you know what, I'm going to treat them just the way they treated me. I'll act like, oh yeah, we're good, all the while playing a game because the magician is a liar. And then you know what, I'll go ahead and let them see how it feels to be on the other side. I hope that that's not anybody, because that's super low vibe, right? And it's human nature to sometimes say, I hope that the universe really teaches them their lesson, but we don't want to be the ones to try to dole that out, because then it makes us just like them. So we don't want to repeat those cycles, right? So hopefully that's not the thought. Now, on the other hand, this could be that you are simply in the outcome to have the Lover's card twice. It may be that you choose a different person and it is an amazing relationship, absolutely amazing. Just at this lovely moment, you may meet someone who is just fabulous. And it turns out this was the person that you were supposed to be with. You thought it was this other one, turned out not to be, but it's okay, because the universe was like, look, darling, there have always been two people. Maybe this is even someone that you knew while you were with this other person. And now that that's over, maybe it is their ex-friend or someone that you met through them. But now this is who you actually can have a real successful relationship with. Now, here's the thing. Might that make the other person pretty darn upset? Possibly, because we've got defensive energy and we still have this deceptive energy. Someone may even accuse you of having, like, well, you're just doing that to hurt me. And it's like, no, actually, I'm doing this because I realized the gift that the universe brought me. You might have been a bit of a nightmare for me, but through that nightmare that I had with you, I met the right person. So I thank the universe for giving me you, because it brought me to the right person. I'm not doing this to hurt you, but they may perceive it that way. I don't think that it's an intentional thing, though, because this is the Beauty and the Beast card. This is really lovely. This is, but the thing is, whoever hurt you before, they may be insisting that that's what you're doing just to hurt them. And that's not true. They might just be upset that they can't manifest something with you again, and it's really upsetting for them. This is a beautiful ending, though. It truly is. It's a little, it does have some sour notes, which is why I'm like, oh, it's not good. But the truth of it is, the Beauty and the Beast story has sour notes. It's always bittersweet, right? But ultimately, we get into the sweetness. We get into the metamorphosis. We get to the next, like, higher vibration, right? The beast transforms because love is given to them. That's why I kind of feel like this ends on a high note, even though not everyone in the kingdom is happy. It's not your job to make everybody else happy. If the universe gave you a miserable experience only because they were the vehicle through which they delivered the right person to you, and at the end of all this, you can be really happy and say, man, if there hadn't been that person, I wouldn't have you. So all worth it. All worth it. That's what I've got for you guys. I don't know if that'll make sense to anybody, but take good care of yourselves. And I wish you guys nothing but happiness. I will be going live at about 3 o'clock today. So maybe I'll see you guys there. Take care. Bye.